Hello everyone and welcome back to The Barrel and our series where we analyse each AFL club's 2024 fixture, their breakout stars and set a realistic passing mark for their season next year. Today we have the Brisbane Lions. Now it's no secret the Lions are absolutely in the premiership window. Obviously lost the grand final by 4 points, so they're 5 points away from a flag, less than a goal, so that obviously broke the hearts of all the supporters, but I reckon they can go again next year. Their redevelopment under Chris Fagan's been pretty crazy, so props to them. And yeah, let's look back at their 2023 and look at what lies ahead for them in 2024.
So in 2023, the Lions finished second on the ladder, obviously securing the double chance as well as home finals, which is very important for them. They finished with 17 wins and 6 losses, but I'd also say they probably left some winnable games on the table, most notably against the Dogs at Marvel in round 3. The Marvel sort of became their second fortress away from the Gabba, so it'd be pretty disappointing in hindsight to lose that against the Dogs, who probably aren't the strongest side, you'd say. Against the Hawks at the MCG in round 13, obviously Hawthorn were a bottom tier side last year, despite showing some positive signs. And this is probably the game where their MCG hoodoo became very apparent in the media and within the club itself, I'd say. And lastly, against the D's at the MCG again in round 18, they blew a massive lead late in the game. I thought it was over, but it was an incredible comeback from the D's, which concluded in a Jake Melksham match winner. Absolute scenes there at the MCG. But overall, I think it was a pretty successful season for them. The fans will be happy, even though they came agonisingly close to a premiership. I'd say on the whole, the fans will be pretty happy with what they dished up, and they'll be raring to go again in season 2024. Now for their fixture next year, unfortunately for them, it was ranked the hardest in terms of double ups. They got 2 byes, round 2 and round 12, because they play opening round against Carlton. Plenty of prime time, 7 Thursday and Friday night games before the floating fixture, so they'll probably get more in the second half of the season as well. And only 1 5-day break, which is very good relative to some other clubs who have quite a few more. Now the real killer of their fixture, not only the double ups, but the trips. So they have to go to Western Australia twice, which is the most brutal trip in AFL footy, especially being in Queensland on the other side of the country. They go to Adelaide 3 times, once for gather round against North Melbourne, and once to play Port and Adelaide each. So that's pretty rough in itself. They come to Melbourne 5 times, including a back-to-back against Hawthorn and the Western Bulldogs in round 13, which is split by their round 12 bye. So they'll have to come to Melbourne, go back if they want, unless they have family here or something, and then come back in round 13. So that isn't ideal for them. They also go to Canberra to play GWS, and they play Gold Coast in Gold Coast. So, not the best in terms of trips. For double ups, they play Collingwood twice. Obviously, they're looking like the premiership favourites yet again to go back to back. Very strong side. Did lose McStay, but they'll be a very strong side yet again in 2024. So wouldn't want to be playing them twice. GWS as well. We saw what they can do in the finals last year, even towards the back end of the home and away season. They played fantastic footy, and I expect them to start the season like that and maintain it all the way through and be genuine premiership contenders as well. Melbourne, they've had some culture issues, with Clayton Oliver off the field and during the off season. Also with Stephen May in his comments, it's looking a bit shaky there. Joel Smith, everything, but I think they'll still be a strong side. I think they'll probably drop off a bit, but still not really a club you'd want to be playing twice. St Kilda, probably the easiest out of their double ups, I'd say. Probably not the most developed and experienced side, but they can be pretty dangerous on their day. But Yeah, I just see them as the weaker side of their double ups. Still not really a team you'd want to be playing twice, but probably one that they're happiest with out of their crop. Adelaide, who many have tipped to make the top 8 next year, including myself. I wouldn't want to be playing Adelaide twice. They look like a very good side in 2024. And Gold Coast, who are on the up, recruited Dimmer. Their list is strong, got some academy prospects. So, yeah, no easy beats in there, I'd say. So the AFL has made it pretty hard on them. They wouldn't be too thrilled looking at that, but to be the best, you've got to beat the best, and that's the sort of challenge that the league has set to the Lions, and I think they can do it. They got plenty of quality all around the ground, and they will go into every clash expecting to win, as they should. They got 11 games at the Gabba, and yeah, overall it's a very rough fixture. The trips are brutal. They got tough games at home, and as I said, the AFL really did them dirty. I think the key to them this year is breaking their MCG hoodoo. They got 2 important games there in Premiership contenders Melbourne and Collingwood, and they'd also hope that their Marvel fortress remains and that they win all their home games like last year to give them the best chance at finishing in that top 4, preferably in that top 2, so they have the best chance of making the grand finals by winning all their Gabba finals. So, for their breakout players, I've got 3 pretty obvious ones, I'd say. You could dig a little deeper, but these are the ones who I think will absolutely explode. Number 1, Jasper Fletcher. Played 14 games last year and had a fantastic final series. I think in his qualifying final against Port Adelaide at the Gabba, he had 3 goals and 16 touches. He's looking to be a mainstay in the Lions midfield and is definitely a piece of their next premiership puzzle whenever their current window may end. He's classy, fast, hard at the ball, and has all the qualities for a future star. I think we can definitely see him eclipse his average of 12 touches quite easily in 2024, and I particularly think he'll average well above 4 contested possessions as he moves more into the midfield. Now, number 2, feels like we say this every year, but Cam Rayner. He has so much potential, it's almost bound to happen. He's 24. So he'll be entering his prime, and with how the Lions are going at the moment, there's no reason he shouldn't explode. When he's on, he is on. But it's a matter of consistency for him. There's stretches of games where he goes missing, and then he comes back and kicks 4 and contributes everywhere. Then the cycle just repeats. So his stoppage work is fantastic and electric, but I want to see him doing it more on a consistent basis in 2024. And finally, Kitty Coleman. I think this is the year where he solidifies himself as one of the best halfbacks in the league. Daniel Rich retired, so he's well and truly gone, so the throne is his for the taking. We saw what he can do in the first half of the grand final. Obviously faded off a bit, but that's the level he should be playing at with his potential. He's a great runner, got a great kick, so I can definitely see him averaging 20 plus and being one of the premier halfbacks in the competition. Now, for a passing mark, I would say for them is definitely top 4, and I'd put them in the tier of genuine premiership threats. They've been around that mark for many years now, and I really can't see them dropping off. I think the disappointment of last year will help them go a step further and actually win the flag next year. So they're my premiership tips. But as we all know, finishing top 4, preferably top 2, is very important if you want to win a flag. So as a fan base, despite the hard fixture, I definitely see a very bright year for the Lions. The regular suspects will keep chipping away, Lachie Neale, Harris Andrews, Josh Dunkley, and doing what they do best, while their young stars develop even further. So that's pretty much the recipe for success in footy. You want your guns being a gun, and you want the people around them taking the next step to get to that level. So we've already made a best 22 video. I'll link that down below in the description, so go check that out. But they've got a pretty strong list. I think it's primed to do some damage, not only now, but many years into the future with the young crop they've got coming through, as mentioned many times. the number 2 scoring team in the competition as of last year, so their forward line's in great shape. I actually think it can get better. Danaher and Hipwood have now set the benchmark for themselves in terms of performance. And also the progression of the small forwards like Zach Bailey and Rayner, as well as Charlie Cameron and McCarthy just doing what they do best, is pretty much going to put them as one of the best forward lines in the competition. Their midfield, led by Lachie Neale, Dunkley and McCluggage. Maybe Ashcroft, if he's back from his ACL. It's obviously very strong as well. They've got plenty of pinch hitters who can jump in there. Rayner, Fletcher, Robertson, Berry. So they should be able to retain the crown of best clearance team in the competition at 2 with the firepower they've got in there. And their back line is obviously one of the best in the comp, led by the brick wall, Harris Andrews. McKenna and Kitty Coleman off half back should work wonders. And they've got lots of young stars in there, such as Starcevic, Jack Payne, and experienced guns. Tom Duday came over from Adelaide. They've also got Gardner and Lester as backup there, as we saw during the finals last year. So overall, the club's in great shape. They should be finishing top 4. Realistically, I think they should make it into the far into the finals as well, and have a very good crack at the flag yet again. They've had sustained success for a long period of time, so Lions fans will be hoping this isn't a case of always getting so close with no cigar. So that's all I have for the Lions in 2024. As mentioned before, check out our best 22 video in the description for an idea of who we have making their final team. And that's it. Join us next time as we analyse Carlton for season 2024. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.